Terry Bradshaw, who had some unkind words toward his former organization. He was talking about how the Steelers have handled their QB situation over the past few years. And I think this maybe immediately discredits some of his opinion in my mind, but he goes, quote, I liked Kenny Pickett. I liked him at Pitt. I know him. I know what he's like. When they got him to Pittsburgh, they didn't protect him. They didn't get him an offensive line. They wanted to run the football, but they didn't have an offensive line that could protect him, and they didn't have weapons. He had no receivers to speak of. Then they throw a kid in there for 2 years. You got an offense that doesn't fit, doesn't work, can't run because the offensive line stinks. Not even good enough for a run blocking team. Now they're saying Kenny Pickett's a failure. He wasn't a failure. The Steelers were a failure. He goes on then, talking about their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers. That's a joke. That to me is just a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there. So your former quarterback, Jack, what?
I kind of see his
that's what I was going to say. You know, as a Steeler fan, I think there are two things to address here. One, do you think that the Steelers have failed their quarterbacks over the past few years? And then two, do you think that going after Aaron Rodgers is sort of a meaningless pursuit for a team that has a lot more problems?
Yeah, I don't think that. I was never anti Kenny Pickett. I don't think he was that bad. I don't think he was in a great situation. We could have done more. Do I think he was the answer? No. But he wasn't in the best situation. We could have helped him out a little bit more. And this is just confusing to me because Aaron Rodgers, who I don't love in the first place, now at age 42, if you're going to bring him in, though...
Wait, is Rodgers 42?
Yeah, right at 41, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
He's over 40.
He's 41, geez, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be 42 during the season.
But if... Wow. Like Kenny Pickett, we have had one solid receiver. We haven't had more than one good receiver in like 8 years. And now we're talking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers, who's way past his prime, and we get rid of our best receiver. I don't get it. It doesn't make much sense. I'd rather just play a young rookie in Will Howard or Mason Rudolph and see what they can do.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is walking into a situation if he joins the Steelers where it's just going to be, you know, a lot, maybe some hype heading into the year, but then by week 5 you're sitting there watching the Steelers, 2-3 or whatever, and you're saying like, what? Like, this is not worth it.
I mean, they're not beating out Buffalo or Baltimore or the Chiefs. Like, I'd play your young quarterback, and I wouldn't even bother.
So you don't want Rodgers at all?
No, but I see where Bradshaw's coming from. I mean, if you're gonna bring in this guy who's years and years and years past his prime self, I mean, keep George Pickens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing.
Ziggy, as a third-party observer to this, what do you think?
The thing about this situation that seems strange to me, and I think what Bradshaw's picking up on, is this is just very un-Steelers. Like, the way the Steelers organization usually operates is we're bigger than any one player, and we're not going to let one player dictate our plans and string us along. At this point, it feels like the Steelers are starting to get desperate, right? Like, it's the end of May. It's just about June. Mini camp is starting soon. Like, you need your quarterback, if they're going to be starting for you week 1, to be in there, to be learning the offense, to be building chemistry with receivers, not just like having a workout off to the side with the guys they like. I don't know. I think that, I mean, my position, I was out on Aaron Rodgers to the Jets from the beginning. You can go back and look at it. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. I wasn't predicting him getting hurt, but I thought that Aaron Rodgers would be too much of a distraction. And even if he were healthy, I think I had them going 4th in division last year, which again, like, it didn't quite happen. But I think this guy's about done with football. He's not focused. He's not engaged. And it doesn't seem like the sort of guy I would want to moor a year of my franchise to, with a bunch of stars on defense that are getting older after making big moves to improve the offense. You're not going to get Aaron Rodgers at his best. And every day that passes, a day he's not there working hard to be good at football, I think he's done.
Well, this feels like the extended purgatory for the Steelers that we've been talking about.
And I mean, going back to Kenny Pickett and these, the previous quarterbacks we've had, and I'm not trying to say what you think I'm going to say, but if you
I don't know what that means.
If you give Kenny Pickett a killer offensive line on Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, things are different. Like, Kenny Pickett wasn't set up for in a great situation.
He wasn't. I also don't think Kenny Pickett was that good, though.
Me neither. But he never really had a chance.
You're saying he wasn't that bad.
Yes, he never had a chance.
Like if you insert Kenny Pickett to the current Viking scheme,
With Justin Jefferson and
O'Connell
Jordan Addison,
and Addison.
yeah, I think things are different. But Aaron Rodgers coming into Pittsburgh now, I don't think he does much.
Do you think that problem with the Steelers, how much of it now do you start to trace back to Mike Tomlin? Because that's a conversation we've had a few times on this show, and basically every time, I believe the four of us have all agreed, keep Mike Tomlin, and we say this is stupid. The people who say they don't want Tomlin don't understand how big of a drop off it goes from when you're competing for the playoffs every year to that full rebuild where you're just lost as an organization, like the Browns are usually, the Jaguars are usually. And Tomlin at least gives you that high floor. But now that ceiling doesn't feel as achievable as it used to earlier in his career. At some point, do we need to start focusing on Tomlin?
I've always been pro Tomlin.
But we all have.
Yeah, we had a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback for years. And it is so unbelievably hard to get that quarterback and surround him with what he needs to be surrounded by to build a championship level team like that, which is why several teams have never even played in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, it is near impossible to reach that level.
The Vikings haven't had a franchise quarterback like that. I don't. What Culp? Like, I think you could count Cousins as a franchise quarterback, but
not like
not in the same.
But not like Roethlisberger.
No. And someone that you drafted too, like it would have been Culpepper had he not gotten injured. And before that, it's Fran Tarkington.
And look at the Pats with Brady, the Giants with Eli, and the Saints with Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning. It's
the Packers are the only team that really doesn't fall into these holes.
It's so easy to then go and just criticize the head coach. But it is near impossible, and we've seen it with those slew of 5 or 6 teams. When you have a quarterback like that, and then he's gone, trying to get back from that and even coming close to what you have done is near impossible. It's hard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think we can blame Mike Tomlin in any facet.
Well, maybe for the people who are running the offense, like when you guys,
you need a quarterback and the right pieces around him too, and that's a hard thing to do. I think it
falls into place with the quarterback often. Like Jaden Daniels comes in. I know that you need good players to elevate the offense, but there are certain guys. Ben Roethlisberger, really, no matter who you plugged in, he was going to make them good.
Yeah.
So you see that Josh Allen, Mahomes, like Ben Roethlisberger was a top 5 quarterback, or right there most of his career, where no matter what you had around him, he was going to excel. But that's hard. Yeah, it's hard to land a top 5, top 10 quarterback, a perennial top 5, top 10 quarterback. I do want to clarify too, because maybe some people are saying, well, Paul, you really wanted Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings. And I think the big difference between the Vikings and the Steelers is the Vikings, to me, are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. You just saw NFL.com rank the most complete rosters in the league. I think the Vikings were 3 behind the Lions and Eagles. I haven't looked at the list. I just know they were in the top 5. But the Vikings are right there as one of the best rosters in the league. I think with that team, with the coaches that we have, it's a great spot to just insert a quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. I believe he would have one more year in that setting. The Steelers are not that setting to me.
Well, they inserted Darnold in and he was good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you could most people can go in there, but I think Rodgers can take you to another level. I think he still has one more year of that in the right environment, and I don't think that that's Pittsburgh. I think in Pittsburgh, you might have some problems with the O-line. Who's your running back one right now?
Terrible.
Who's your running back one right now?
Jaylen Warren, probably.
Like it's.
And he's better than Najee.
Wait, not the guy they drafted out of Iowa?
I don't know if he's going to be ahead of Caleb Johnson.
I think Caleb Johnson will have that starting job.
I've actually heard great things.
Sure, but even if they're splitting carries, there's a lot of works in progress for the Steelers offense right now. That if you put Aaron Rodgers there, that's probably an 8 or 9 win team, and now you're doing the same thing going on the road to Buffalo, to Kansas City, or Baltimore, and you're probably going to lose in round 1. And if you're lucky, you lose in round 2.
Big Ben said, give us A-Rod, we're a 12-win team.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. He said, You said no A-Rod. We're 7-10. Give us A-Rod. We got 12 wins.
Look, if Rodgers comes out and if it's true that he just has a great year for anyone you plug anyone you plug a top tier Aaron Rodgers on is going to be competing. I just think that he's now more reliant on the team than the team is on Aaron Rodgers to be good. And
Yeah,
that's
I
why I
agree.
believe the Vikings were a good destination for him.
You know why Big Ben said if you insert Rodgers, we got 12 wins? He gave 3 letters, HOF.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. He said HOF. But I mean, look, Ben, I'd love to agree, but that was years and years ago.